Greetings all, we are back. This is Harry, Nick and Justin.
Hello.
Alright, so I'm back from Japan. I'm now recording with Justin again.
Yep.
So before we dive into the contents of this video, let's have a chat about all the Clone Wars stuff. Once more time, because I haven't had a chance to talk to you about it.
Yes.
What do you think of all the Wave 3 stuff for X-Wing?
Oh, there's so much hype over it.
A lot of hype.
It almost looks like Wave 2 is being forgotten about to a certain extent.
I think that is the general feeling amongst the community right now.
I think until Wave 2 is actually brought out and people are like, oh, I can actually play with these ships.
Yeah, I think Wave 2 looks fantastic still.
Yeah.
What's your general thoughts? Why do you think that mainly is?
New ships, I think, is the main idea. And
Yeah.
new abilities.
Very new. I think, in my mind, one of the driving factors for the Clone Wars stuff is the fact that the design is really good and really focused. I feel like, despite the fact that the CIS in particular has a lot of new concepts, it's very, very unique in some of the designs, especially the Vulture Droid and that kind of stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, also, there's a lot of fans of the Clone Wars TV show. And
Yeah.
that show was amazing.
People have been clamouring for this stuff, and fans of the movies as well.
Yeah.
A lot of the younger players and that kind of stuff. A lot of older players, sort of 30 plus like us.
Yeah.
By the way, I turned 30 last month.
I've still got a little while left.
Still a little while left, yeah. I think a lot of us, I know you're a fan of the prequel movies, but a lot of people of this old generation kind of look at it and go, grumble. But it's the same with the new movies as well,
Yeah.
so, whatever. And we're talking about the A-Wing today, and I think it's pretty safe to say that this does not explore as much new design as what we're seeing from the Wave 3 stuff.
Yeah.
This isn't too dissimilar from the A-Wing from the Galactic Civil War. That's fair enough. I can understand people's sort of compunction around that.
Yeah, basically it's an A-Wing with a tech slot.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
An A-Wing with a tech slot and a little movable arc. Some cool pilot abilities, but nothing too crazy in terms of design.
But that's the great thing. Even though there isn't too much change in design, there's still a lot of space to play with.
Yeah, and I think it's worth reminding people, we can have almost the same ship on two different factions now. The problem with this in first edition is they're not going to have that much overlap on two different ships.
Yeah.
It creates too many issues when it comes to design. But when they're completely separated, remember, you can't have an RZ-1 on the Resistance anymore. And you can't have an RZ-2 on the Rebellion. So you can have them very similar. That's okay.
Yeah, like if they bring out a First Order TIE bomber, you're like,
Exactly
great,
right.
I've now got a bomber for the First Order.
It could be almost exactly the same with a couple of shields in it, and that would be okay.
I think just one.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep, for
realistically, that's all you need.
Yeah, I think just to cap off that conversation, it seems to be the fact that there isn't a lot of new design on the Resistance and First Order, which, in my mind, is the main reason why people are sort of looking to the Clone Wars stuff. But we shouldn't ignore the Wave 2 stuff. I think it still looks really, really awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking particularly at the Resistance if I'm going to pick up any of this kind of stuff. You're looking mainly at the First Order.
Yeah, I want to fly again the Silencer, the TIE SF and the TIE FO all in a team.
Yeah, well, you flew that in first edition, so that makes perfect sense. But let's talk about the RZ-2 A-Wing. And before we talk about anything else, let's look at all the stats and break all this down. First of all, we have the spread here with the dial. So the dial is a strict upgrade on the RZ-1 A-Wing. The 3 bank whites have become blue.
Yeah.
It's a nice bit of versatility. You can get a bit of speed on your banking turns. And as I often say when we're talking about arcs or fire sprays, anything that can fire backwards, even just doing a little bank is very significant because you're opening up a lot of options. And the fact of the matter is the A-Wing can always move its arc as long as it can take an action. What's going to shut down this and the TIE SF for that matter is when you block it. Because you block it, they can't take a regular action, and then it can't take one of these red actions.
Also, when you do a red action like the Talon rolls or the K-turns, you can't turn the dial.
No. You can take prime thrusters, new boost, and barrel roll, but that's it.
Yeah.
So it is worth noting. I do think the fact that you have to only rotate the arc as a red extra action, kind of like a linked action, is limiting.
Yeah.
It's probably strictly upside, but at the same time, if you're not careful with that, you're going to get yourself into bad situations where you can't move it back and you really have to. Like it's pointing out the back and you have to move it forward again and you've stretched yourself just the wrong time and got to be careful with that. Got to be careful with that.
I think the Resistance is really going to show the better flyers. If you are a good flyer, you are going to do really well with this team.
Absolutely. And with the T-70 X-Wings, with their pilot abilities, I completely agree with that. Yeah. We have Poe the Limit on this faction as well, so it makes perfect sense. Even these pilot abilities seem to focus a lot around aggression, a lot around versatility. Yeah. One of these in particular I think is definitely worth looking at in terms of versatility, but the rest seem to be all about flying just really hard at your opponent's ships, which is interesting on an A-Wing, to say the least. Let's take a look at all of these pilots. So there are 6 pilots in the pack. 4 of them are unique. I think we had them all revealed in this article. We'll find that in a second. Yeah. 2 generics, which we don't see here, but whatever, they're generics. I don't think we're going to want to favour low initiative ships here. No. Like the Green Squadron pilots of old. I think that sort of strategy is out the window now with these new A-Wing designs. Yeah. But maybe. We'll see what happens there. Let's bring up the named pilots here and go through them one by one as they appear in the article. So, first one to be revealed here is Greer Sennell. After you fully execute a maneuver, you may rotate your turret. Okay, cool. And it's worth pointing out this is the baked-in ability as well. You have the option to do a red rotate turret on the back of any action, as well as a red boost, which is really, really cool. The turret must go forward or backwards. Theoretically speaking, you can do forward and backwards, or backwards and forwards in the same turn with this guy, but there's no reason why you'd ever want to. Sure, if there's any ever reason to do that, you got it.
I suppose you're like, oh no, I don't want the front, I actually want the back.
Yeah. I like this guy a lot. I think there is a lot of danger with only being able to rotate your turret as a red action, so he gets around that. Being able to overshoot your enemy and shoot backwards feels really, really good. He doesn't, he's still only got 2 red dice, so not really sort of a massive heavy hitter. Yeah. But could be a decent brawler for this reason.
Yeah, I mean, you could target lock, move your turret backwards, and that's all a white action. So
yeah, you just rotate the turret. The rotate the turret is not even an action at that point.
Yeah.
So that's cool. He's very soft to getting blocked. I am concerned about that. You must fully execute your maneuver. The other ships actually get around getting blocked. There's one other pilot that does that. We'll talk about that in a second. Yeah. So, I don't know. Initiative 4, if he's cheap enough.
I think he's going to be the one that a lot of people start with. Yeah. And learn to play with him.
Yes.
And then move on to...
That's a very good point. I think as a newbie ship, this is going to be very, very good. Same initiative as Jake Farrell, so we might be sitting around... Jake's at 40 points. With the better dial and the better baked-in ability, maybe 42, 3, 4, something like that. Yeah. That's what I think anyway.
I think if they're over 50 points, no one's really going to fly them.
That's the danger. I think if our initiative 5 guys 50 points, maybe. By the way, we should mention A-Wings are at their cheapest, as in A-Wings on the Rebellion, 30 points. Yep. These guys have a better dial and a better baked-in ability. Because they can lock the arc forward or backwards as well as the red boost, so it's just more stuff. It's a strict upgrade. I think that's going to result in a 3 or 4 point increase across the board. Yeah. I think that's what we're looking at here. I don't think it's significantly better than the RZ-1. Actually, look, while we're talking about that, people are concerned about that stat line being the same. Not having 3 red dice primary has gotten a lot of people not very happy about this.
Yeah, but you've got options.
Yeah, I think, as we said before, it's not a bad thing that it borrows a lot of the stats from the original one. So, yeah,
like the fact that you can shoot either out the front or out the back.
That is
going from 2 to 3. I think would actually be too powerful.
Yeah, it's already a better attack as it is. I agree with you. I'm just playing devil's advocate for the sake of having the conversation. So yeah, from that point of view, I think it's fine. I like this ability, but it's the other parts that really get me hyped. So let's move on to those. Lulo Lampar. I'm sure I butchered the hell out of that. Initiative 5. While you defend and perform a primary attack, if you are stressed, you must roll 1 fewer defense die or 1 additional attack die. This is the one that we're looking at going, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is very interesting. Very, very interesting.
4 attack die if you're in range 1.
Yeah. There's a lot of versatility here, and this is why we like it, because, you know, while you're stressed, blah, 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 your opponent can control that, but ultimately, you have the most agency to have control over that. So you look at that and go, but I'm rolling 1 less agility. The point of this is you control it so you arc dodge whenever you stress.
Yeah.
This is a very potent arc dodger. He has a red boost in the back of everything. That includes all your barrel rolls, so you can barrel roll boost every single turn, no worries. If you have prime thrusters, you can do that through stress. If you have prime thrusters, you can barrel roll, rotate arc, and then boost, or anything, rotate arc and then boost.
Yeah.
It just says after perform an action, you may do one of those, so it doesn't say that you can only do 2, you can do 3.
Yeah.
You can't do it again the next turn, but
No.
oh well, if you get a big hit in, that's really good.
Yeah.
So if he barrel rolls out of the way, then boosts and shoots backwards with 3 or 4 red dice at range 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to feel pretty good.
So I think this guy is moving into ace territory. This kind of versatility is exactly what an ace wants. Initiative 5 is not ideal. Obviously, Initiative 6 would be incredible, but I think keeping these guys low... I know, again, a lot of people were saying, oh, wouldn't it be great if there was Initiative 6.
But they were never that big, even in
They
episode
weren't-
8. Like, you
they
saw them
weren't-
fly for maybe 10 minutes? if
They
you're
weren't
lucky?
story-focused. They weren't story-centric characters.
Yeah.
That is the main thing. Yeah, I know the First Order get like Quick Draw and Midnight, but that's the First Order. They have, academies of pilots being trained. I think they can get away with that. The Resistance really can't.
It's almost like with the Empire. Like, you've been trained for long enough that you will become, a powerful person.
That's
Power
it.
runner, things like that.
Sunterfeld, and yeah, exactly right. So I look at this, the fact that it can take prime thrusters, there's a lot of options here. We were looking before we recorded this video on ways where this doesn't work, ways that you can't intentionally stretch your ship. You must have to rotate your arc or do a boost in order to do this. Fail a boost intentionally. That is one way to abuse this. We spoke about this with Composure before, and they kind of fixed it with the rules, but you could barrel roll, then boost straight into them and fail it and get the red still.
Yeah.
That's an option, but it's still a bit circumstantial. You've got to be very careful with that. Again, for Resistance, we're going to reward better flyers.
Yeah. Is there any talents or anything like that give out a red Swarm Tactics?
Swarm Tactics gives you a...
Red Coordinate? Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so anything that gives red actions
Everyone,
is upside.
forget that I said that. Don't fly Resistance. I want to fly the First Order and enjoy myself.
Yeah. Swarm Tactics.
Yeah.
Now, there is the argument that having the red boost and rotate arc is already enough upside and you won't get enough value out of yet another option. I really like that there is a complete fail case scenario. You can Swarm Tactics and then fail and then it goes red.
Yeah.
I mean, you can boost and fail, but the Swarm Tactics and fail, like there's no bad situation in that.
Yeah.
You don't want to intentionally fail if you can do something because it's a free action on one of your other ships.
Well, not only that, giving Coordinate, if you have this and Poe...
Yeah, this is very interesting.
Yeah.
This guy is very, very interesting to us. This is stapled with prime thrusters. You are never going to want to take another tech on this for sure. The amount of control you have is what gets us the most interested. And look, if you want to run away and do that kind of stuff, you've got all that blue on the dial and you just take off all the stress and you have 3 green dice, take an evade. Yeah, it looks really good. It looks really good. I think this guy is the one that we're going to look very seriously at.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Let's move on to Zuri Bengal. You do not skip your perform action step after you partially execute a maneuver. So this is almost like the Arvel Crinid of the Resistance.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. You don't boost into something, but your regular maneuver does not cause you to bump in the same way. You still get your actions. You can't shoot at range 0, but that's almost a good thing.
If you bump into someone, you can still do a red maneuver to point
your arc at the right spot. You can still take a shot at the ship behind that ship with modified dice. What I love about this is the ability to bump into something and then do a red boost and then shoot them at the back.
That's cheeky.
That's very, very cheeky because you can take the white boost and then move it at the back, or if you have prime thrusters, you can focus, move the arc at the back and then do a red boost. Yeah. So while one of these parts is very soft to being bumped, this guy is super bump resistant. I really like this.
Yeah.
Initiative 3, so we're not really an ace, but if he's alongside a swarm...
I was about to say Arvel's 3 as well.
Arvel's 3 as well, and he's seeing a little bit of play in some Junkyard lists, so I like this. This isn't the one I'm most excited about, but I dig it.
Yeah,
I dig it.
Actually, I'm going to change my mind. Him and the first one that we talked about.
Yeah.
You learn to play with those two, and then you switch to the 5.
The guy that can go at the back and you sort of play really aggressively, fire at the back and overtake and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I dig it. It's more about pilot abilities than playing in swarms.
Yeah.
It's the resistance,
Yeah.
Flashy flying is what it's all about. Again, this is going to favour better pilots. When you can intentionally bump in the right way and you pull that kind of stuff off, it's going to be really difficult for new players to sort of understand what's going. And because new players are still getting their head around, how do I block? But how do I block in a way that doesn't give this guy upside? It's a mind warp because it's changing the way in which we fly. We have another Initiative 5 revealed, Telus Sun Lint. While an enemy ship inside your bullseye firing arc performs an attack, you may spend 1 charge. You have 1 and it recurs. If you do, the defender rolls 1 additional die. Yeah, it's pretty cool. This is more a Junkyard type ship, I guess, kind of thing. Although you don't have to fly in formation like a lot of other Junkyard things. The image shown in this article shows the A-Wing off to one side and a resistance bomber all the way over here. Well, you can see the picture anyway. And that's a decent amount of upside.
Yeah, you don't have to be in the enemy's arc.
Yeah, it's proactive. It rewards your flying. It's Initiative 5, so it's kind of wanting to be an ace, but not really. This ability doesn't feel like an ace to me.
Nah. It feels a little bit defensive.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of this. Maybe you fly alongside bombers, so you have defense on your bombers.
Yeah. The bombers only have 1 green die, so...
Giving 3 green dice to Poe could be good.
Ooh. Yeah. Well, even then, giving extra green dice to some A-Wings as well, if you're flying a squadron of A-Wings.
Maybe to Rey. Extra green dice for Rey gives her better defense with all the fin and the re-rolls and all that shenanigans. Yeah, I don't know how that list would balance out. You can fit another ship hopefully alongside that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. It's different.
I reckon if you were to fly this, you'd fly maybe 2 A-Wings and maybe a bomber.
Yeah, I can see that.
I reckon that would fly pretty well.
Or this and 3 bombers, or 2 A-Wings, 2 bombers. I don't know.
Yeah. We don't have points.
We don't have points. I'm pretty confident this is just going to cost a bit more than the regular A-Wing, but yeah, exactly. As you said, don't really have enough to comment on. But it's interesting that we have another part that takes us in a different design direction. That's pretty cool. All right, the last card to be revealed in this article is Ferrous Fear paint.
Yes, now this is a tech option just for resistance, and I'm annoyed.
Yeah, you're keen on First Order.
Yeah.
After an enemy ship locks you, if you are not in that ship's bullseye firing arc, that ship gains 1 stress token. Justin, don't worry about it. Just get everything in the bullseye firing arc.
Yeah.
So
just fly good.
Yeah, so if you're flying in formation and flying like in a box formation and trying to joust, might not be so good because your opponent can get you in their bullseye firing arc.
Yeah.
If you're being all resistancy and flashy and flying around as a swarm of mosquitoes doing all this, feels better. Seems alright.
Yeah, I reckon it's gonna... This has a very real possibility of going on a couple of X-Wings, I reckon.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think we're talking about the A-Wing here. I think the A-Wing, 99% of the time, is looking at prime thrusters.
Yeah.
That's okay. No arguments there.
Yeah.
It's a bit annoying that this comes in the A-Wing pack. I hope it comes in the Resistance pack as well. And in the X-Wing pack, more importantly. Because that'd be kind of annoying. However, if you're flying Resistance, you're going to need all the ships. There's not enough to sort of lock yourself out of certain archetypes, that kind of stuff. And the A-Wing is going to be I feel like it's going to be a very core ship of the faction. So you're going to want to pick up a couple for sure.
Yeah, you need at least 2, I reckon.
So yeah, as a stress control option, look, it does enfranchise your opponent because they get to choose not to lock you. I think this stops this card from being really degenerative. I know you're worried about it. I'm looking at it going, nah.
But if you're... the way I look at this is you fly maybe 4 T-70s.
Yeah.
Maybe not like just the lower named ones.
as a passive mod, that feels pretty good. If it's cheap enough, that's okay.
Yeah. I don't think this would go on Poe. I reckon Poe would rather the prime thrusters.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But
well, he's got Poe the limit built into him. He wants to be able to stress and do boosts and barrels, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Look, maybe it's because I'm a scum player. I thrive on versatility. I would just go, okay, I'm doing everything but locking you then.
Yeah, but lock is such a important ability. I don't know.
It depends.
Yeah.
On some against some lists. I like sort of the big bounty hunter things that can do all kinds of stuff. So it doesn't bother me as much. But then again, if it's dirt cheap, if it's like 1 or 2 points, I'm like, yeah. It burns the tech slots, so you're losing out on prime thrusters and your weapons guidance and all that kind of stuff. So there are really good options in that slot already. So yeah, this doesn't jump out at me as like being game breaking, but I can understand in some situations this is going to be frustrating. Apart from that, just the 2 generics that we haven't seen here. On the quick build card, we already have both of these parts revealed. Predator and Outmaneuver will be included in this pack. Proton rockets, prime thrusters, heroic, all good stuff.
Yeah.
All good stuff.
I like the idea of heroic as well.
Yeah, heroic on this ship with less dice feels really good. Maybe on Lud Lampa.
Yeah.
Maybe on defense that could be pretty decent. I don't know.
It's defense and attack.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. Well, in the situation that he's defending with only 2 green dice,
Yeah.
he is upping the chances of getting better results.
Yeah.
If he has to attack with 2 red dice, again, we're talking to that pilot's versatility. That's what he's about.
Yeah, if you only have blank results, so yeah.
I like this ship. I like that it's more about pilot abilities than changing the frame too much. I think keeping the frame very similar to the RZ-1, just improving it in little ways and giving it these really interestingly pilot abilities. I'm way more excited about this than the RZ-1, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm hoping when the RZ-1 gets re-released, we get more interesting pilots on that. Not that like Jake Farrell or Naval Crinan aren't interesting, but I think there could be more done on that platform. More that leads into Jankyard lists.
Yeah, and these pilots here just show you the versatility that you can have with these ships.
Yeah. It shows off the flashiness of resistance flying. Really cool stuff. Really cool. Hoping we get some articles on the T-70, the Bomber, and the Falcon really soon.
Yeah.
I think the resistance looks really interesting. It's not about the ship frames, it's about those abilities.
Yeah.
And that's going to be really fun. I think the hype on Wave 2 should continue because I think these 2 factions look really cool.
And not only that, like, Wave 2 is going to be out for a while before Wave 3 comes out.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to have a good 3-4 months of enjoying.
People tend to get a bit overzealous when they hear, this online website announced this date or whatever. People were talking about a November release for Wave 2. Never going to happen. It was always going to be Christmas. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Lots of cool stuff still to talk about. Having said all this, we'll get an article tomorrow and I'll have to make more videos. That's all cool. This weekend, I will be away again, going to the Australian Nationals up in Sydney. We already have our Hangar Bay video pre-recorded, so that'll be done. That'll go out as per usual.
Well, good luck on that. I hope you do well.
I have had no practice whatsoever. I've been way too busy turning 30, going to Japan, all that kind of stuff. I'm hoping to get like 1 practice night in before I go up.
Yeah,
we'll see how I go.
As long as you know your ships, you should.
I know my ships. I'm going to fly Boba Paylob and Forlong. So these are ships that I already know how to fly quite well. So I wasn't going to try and like learn a janky IG list or something like that for this time. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter or Reddit. Please consider supporting our Patreon as well. Thank you so much to all our existing patrons. Because of the conversations we had on the Discord and kind of stuff, it helps us prep for these videos and know what to talk about and that kind of thing. We'll catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.